I am a competitive Madden player that just went 25-0 in the most recent MUT Champs, and in this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips to win more games in Madden 24. For tip number 1, I'm going to urge you to mix up your run calls. In Madden 24, they just added a brand new feature called Read and React that makes the defensive AI react better to repetitive run calls. This means that in order to have an effective run game, you must use a variety of runs so the Read and React AI does not trigger. For example, if you really like the run HB stretch, make sure to call it out of different formations throughout the game so that the Read and React AI will never play their proper run fits. This is exactly what EA wants you to do. And later in this video, I'll explain a secret method or technique that all the pros are using to completely negate this feature in their run attack. Tip number 2 is shading your defensive coverage. And not knowing the mechanics behind this is likely why your opponent's man coverage schemes always seem to be significantly better than yours. Everybody knows the technique to universally shade their defense outside or inside based on the routes their opponent calls. When you shade outside, your coverage is better suited to play routes that are going to the outside of the field. And when you shade inside, your coverage is better suited to play routes that cut to the inside of the field. To universally shade all of your defensive backs and your linebackers in coverage, all you have to do is press triangle or Y if you're on Xbox, and then left on the right stick if you want to shade inside. If you want to shade outside, you press triangle or Y if you're on Xbox, and right on the right stick. And as you can see, you get the visual feedback on the left, but this is not always the case. And that will really help you stop any in-breaking routes or out-breaking routes, depending on whether you shade. Of course, for out-breaking routes, you want to shade outside, and for in-breaking routes, you want to shade inside. Smart opponents will start using routes that go both inside and outside in order to beat a universally shaded defense. And as you can see, a universally shaded defense won't be able to cover both of these routes. To beat smarter opponents, you need to utilize something called individual shading. As you can see on this route, there's 3 routes breaking to the inside and 1 route breaking to the outside. Because of this, if you universally shaded inside, the corner route would get wide open. That's number 4 here, he's on a deep corner route. But if you shaded outside, all of these in-breaking routes would be wide open. So you're left to individually shade. So in this case, I would first universally shade inside. So triangle or Y if you're on Xbox. And then, very simply, from there, I'd press left on the right stick to shade inside. So now that'll take care pretty well of these routes breaking to the inside of the field. The post, the drag, the trail route, but the corner route would still get wide open. So what I would do at this point is I'd press triangle. I'd locate who's on the corner route, assuming this route combo is coming. This is where the chess match comes into play. Press X or A if you're on Xbox. See that it's R1 or RB if you're on Xbox, Curtis Samuel. And then you're going to shade that to the right? So that would be to the outside in this case for number 4. Now what that'll do is that'll make it so that our defense will be shaded inside everywhere but where this corner route's coming. So if you can predict the route combo your opponent's going to put on the field, you will have a much better time guarding the route combo. I expect the drag to get pretty open, and pretty much everything was bagged on that play. You can see that because we shaded the way that we did, our man coverage was just way better. So we have Terry McLaurin, as you can see, he's playing a very weak Rasul Douglas, and it's still covered extremely well. Like he could probably fit that in a window maybe under the safety. This trail route's covered, this drag route's covered, and that corner route is absolutely bagged. And that's simply because we utilized individual shading. And that's how you're going to take down those top-end opponents. Tip 3 is backing off your clouds. Because the cloud flat, when used right, is the most important zone in the game for defending any route going to the outside of the field. The problem is, beginner players always press their defense, which makes the cloud flats completely useless at defending corner and crossing routes since they can't backpedal fast enough. Now to have great defense, you need to press and back off your clouds. To do this, you're going to press your defense first. So first, we're going to press triangle or Y if you're on Xbox, and down on the left stick. this will press your defense. However, if you leave it like this, as previously mentioned, the corner routes will get wide open. As you can see, we have so much space and could even probably take that for a touchdown. But if we back off our clouds, you'll notice that we'll play much better defense. So first, we're going to press. Now this will make our defensive blitz look much better and obviously come in. And to also have really good coverage, you're going to need to do the following. So we're pressed already. All we're going to do is press triangle or Y if you're on Xbox, then X or A if you're on Xbox, and then the closest receiver to our cloud. So first, we're going to move the cloud on the left. In this case, that is Rasul Douglas. So the closest receiver would be Terry McLaurin. And what we're going to do is select his button. So this is square, and if you're on Xbox, that would be X. And we're going to press square and back off with the right stick. And as you can see, Rasul Douglas now moves back. It's not necessary to move the cloud flat back on the left, but it's the exact same setup. And now you notice when I run this corner strike play, you'll see that not only will we get the blitz to come in, but the cloud will be in a much better position. So as you can see, when you run this play, this cloud flat, since he's now backed off, will be able to cover this deep corner route. And he sits right around the area that the corner route would be going to. Yes, the flat would be open, but of course, if you're worried about that, you could employ some sort of double Mabel coverage that looks like so, right? And you could not have to worry about the flat or the deep corner route when you're playing defense. If you're enjoying the video so far, you should definitely check out my brand new website, victoryformation.gg. I just recently dropped my Pittsburgh Steelers game plan and 5 more crucial tips that will help you get well on your way to Madden dominance. Unlock everything for only $9.95 and take an additional 15% off your first month with code SWOLO. Tip 4 defines using pull routes to make your receivers wide open when passing. A pull route is a route designed to manipulate or move a zone out of the way for another receiver to get open. It is often a streak. In Madden 24, outside thirds and outside quarters do a great job at defending underneath routes when they have no route pushing them back. This makes it so that it is very difficult to attack the sideline. Now I'm going to go over a few examples of when/where to use these pull routes. Now in this case, I'm in the play flood with a couple hot routes that attack the flats. However, you'll notice that because I'm going against a cover 3 defense, the outside third plays this route really well, and it'll often result in a pick if I throw it just a little bit too late. Now, to counter this and make sure the window's much larger, especially if we don't have a velocity ability like set feet lead or pass it elite, all we're going to do is either leave square on this deep post, which kind of acts like a fade, or we're going to put him on a fade route. To do that, we're going to press triangle or Y, and then the receiver, in this case it's square, or X if you're on Xbox, then up on the right stick. Now that'll give us a combo that'll counter this cover 3 really well to the short side of the field. As you can see, when I try to throw this corner out, it's wide open and I could throw it as late as I would like to. Now, if I were to try this versus cover 3 on the wide side of the field, we'll get a different result. The reason that is because the outside third doesn't actually get pulled enough by a streak or a fade unless it's motioned out. So in this case, I'm actually going to motion out the streak to allow us to throw these corner routes underneath. Otherwise, you'll notice that it'll be very difficult for us to make this pass. So when it's motioned out, you're given a lot more time and a lot more space to throw that corner route wide open. Now this is the same case for posts. You really want to use posts to the short side of the field, or if you're trying to throw it to the wide side of the field, you only really want to throw it in the middle and not late. So in this case, if I were to call this play without a pull route, you'll notice that both the inside third and the outside third are very close to making a breakup, and if we were to throw that a little bit later, or if we didn't have a velocity ability, you'd notice that it would get completely covered. So I'm going to make sure that the wheel's not there and we just get a little bit more time. And you'll notice that in this case, I could throw it right there, but if I were to wait just a half second longer, it'd be much more difficult for us to throw this ball. So in this case, I'll put a streak on Scantling, just like how I did with Flood. In that case, it was a fade. Doesn't necessarily matter to the short side of the field, but you'll notice that I'm given a lot more space to throw this pass, and I could throw it really late, right underneath that outside third for an easy dot. When you master the use of pull routes, you'll be able to dominate any coverage your opponent throws at you. In tip number 5, I will explain exactly how to have instant run defense, and this is by far the simplest and easiest way to significantly improve your run defense in Madden 24. Running the ball is pretty easy in Madden 24, and if you don't have the proper run D setup, you'll often get gashed for huge gains. To have instant run D, all you have to do is when you see your opponent running the ball, after the snap, you have to press the right stick down. So once you do that and you hear it click, then your entire defense will be alerted it's a run and play much better in the run game. For the bonus tip, I'm going to show you how to completely break read and react AI so you could spam the same runs over and over and over again. To do this, all you have to use is RPO run plays because the defense doesn't get read and react AI because it's a run pass option. So it won't get progressively better as you spam the same run. So in this case, the stretch alert lookie out of single back wing pair is a great example of a run that you could continuously spam without having to worry about the defense reacting throughout the game. Even pro player Henry, who just won the Ultimate Kickoff tournament and has won a total of 6 belts, was running an RPO as his main run play out of the formation gun tight Y off, and the play was called RPO zone alert glance. Now this allowed him to absolutely dominate the trenches without having to worry about the read and react AI reacting to the run. And on top of that, it had a great passing scheme. So you could immediately implement these 2 runs in any RPOs you find in your playbook to better your run game online. Thank you for watching this entire video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll be posting weekly content throughout the year unless I forget, which is very possible, but hopefully I don't. If you enjoyed, you'll also probably like these 2 videos. Although they're on Madden 23, they're also very effective this year. Everything really hasn't changed, and I picked 2 videos that I think will really help your game because the concepts haven't changed. Now, thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.